I'm back with a new stream, and today we're going to keep working on docstring, our little Mac app. Still trying to work through things I have in mind for managing profiles. Yep. So I guess we'll start our log. And yeah, as usual, I don't have a fixed plan, have a vague plan. Yeah, I guess we can start by showing off our progress. Last time we implemented what happens after you click these two buttons, right? So if you click create new profile, you'll get this dialog. You get to choose a name for your new profile, and it gets created with some set of default values and all that. And we can delete this one or that one. The imported profile is gonna look very similar because I only one sample data. Yeah, so if you click import, you'll notice this dialog show up in the background, but in the foreground you get the file picker where you could pick some files from your computer. And then if the file is invalid, you'll get this dialog telling you some information about how it's invalid. You click OK, things go away. Now let's try that again. This time pick a valid file, open, import. Now that file gets imported. All right, so that's the progress. Yeah, so let's think about what to work on today. So one thing that I'm not super happy about is the fact that these actions, as well as these ones, right? They are available through the UI, but we're working on Mac app, and Mac app has menus, and so far these actions are not available in the menu. So that's one problem. Yeah. The next problem, well, I guess a similar problem is the fact that there's no more information other than this panel shows on the rest of the UI. So I can envision something like we have an empty area over here, right? So we can show, for example, the name, the path, and even some actionable items over here using this empty area. Yep. And those two things, the menu and the additional UI over here, has a, I guess, shared aspect, which is they all may have similar actions than the ones we have built into this UI. So these, for example, these actions in the menu and these actions here and the delete action, they're tied very much to the UI itself today. As in, there's a strict hierarchy, there's this list view and store, and the list view and store gets mapped into smaller, stricter views. And when it comes to this part, for example, I just take a piece from the overall store and pass it down, right? So it's very kind of a strict hierarchy. So in this kind of setup, how can we kind of sneak in these actions into the store through the menu or through some additional UI that may not have access? I mean, the additional UI, we have a I guess, established way to communicate, which is like we can when we pass the store, map the store down, we have access to the superstore, the parent store. So in that sense, that's a solved problem. But the menu is kind of a wild wild card. As in, like I haven't thought through what's the conventional or a good way even to implement it, right? So the menu, let's think through that problem. Let's think through that problem. Yeah, so I guess that's what we probably will work on today. All right, so let me log that. Intro. All right. So how should we proceed? Let's take a look at. I'm just gonna stare at the storyboard for a while, because this is where I guess okay. I also have a static view controller here. Yeah, that's I guess how I cheated. So when you use the app, you can click help. I'll get you this little view window. This window. But that's, yeah. I guess one thing we could do is try to move this into the composable architecture as well, right? Yeah. So basically we want AppKit to talk to composable architecture, which probably means we have to make some refactor in our existing code. So how should we do this, right? Like a menu, for example. So this is a storyboard, and menu is just an object in the application object, I guess. So we could add more objects to the storyboard, and that object can act as the, I guess, the intermediary. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Because so far, if you deal with this, it doesn't really help you much, right? Storyboard is meant to construct UI, and we don't need it to construct UI other than the menu itself. And menu, for each menu item, you get to pick the action, right? So for example, here we just talk to the app delegate. So app delegate is one way. I mean, this is not terrible. So when you receive this action, you get the sender, right? And let's take a look at what happens if we do something about the sender. So what would be the sender if you click in the storyboard? It would be an NS menu item, right? And of course, it will have an identifier. And the identifier could be our way in. Right? Identifier is a string. So whenever we can create arbitrary menu items, send them all into the same handler, perhaps even in the app delegate. And then we can give app delegate a store. and then just translate these menu items into actions that goes into the store. That seems like a very direct, very short path. I kind of like that. And also earlier today, I thought of this question of this concept of a profile list. It really is very, if you just, I think the action speaks for the most. It really, so there are really two parts of in the profile list thingy. There's the profile list as the view. This view right, it has the concept of something being selected. It has a contextual menu, and it can trigger a bunch of actions like start to delete, showing a confirmation, things like that. Right. So that's one layer. And then the next layer is the actual manipulation of data, where you can update which one is activated, where you can create new data, delete data at a certain index. Yeah, things like that. So those two are, I don't know, one is more fundamental than the other, right? For example, which cell is selected doesn't really, it's just a transactional state in the view. So these two really, there's some refactor to be done here. So maybe this is our opportunity to actually do that refactor. Yeah. So let me just take a look at this profile state thingy. So we have the selected profile index. That's definitely part of the profile list. Warn for index, arguably not part of the profile list state, but maybe. Index for profile being renamed. Being is the keyword here. So there's action, a live action here. So this probably belongs here. Profile creation. See, this is interesting because we can definitely create profiles from a menu, right? So this may not belong here. So this is actually it's a little surprising because it's not as what I would thought, because I was anticipating that this and this is very similar, because as you can see, they're even in the same condition here for showing that sheet. But turns out, just by our brief analysis just now, that might not be the case, right? And obviously, things like delete, duplicate profile, and remove profile, this kind of thing, definitely is not unique to the view, right? So that's very, very interesting. Okay, so I guess I can try to start making like an app state, right? And then we move some of these into the app state. Maybe. So let's see. If I have an app state, an app action, and let's say the app state is being used with the app delegate directly, so it doesn't have corresponding views attached to it. Then what does this mean to send an action to the app view, and how does it communicate to the SwiftUI layer, right? So that's the interesting thing. I guess that means the profile list store will have to derive its value from the app store. And so with this reducer, we'll get the opportunity to observe the parent event, right? If you take a look at any other reducers, for example, this one. Oh no, we get to, this is interesting. Obviously, we can send event actions back into the global store by doing this. Now, how do we react to it? We react to it because state changes, and we observe the state. Okay. So that might not be as bad as I thought, right? So maybe we can start, yeah. Content view. Maybe we can start by let's start. I want to make a new group, I guess. I don't know. Let's call it either global or app or something generic like that. Okay. And then we'll take this content view. We'll give it a refactor. Let's call it app view. We're updating here and here. Okay. And the store will change it. Yeah. Okay. So we'll pull this in here. And then let's make a app store. Or as actually app state. How about that? All right. So it's going to be a struct. I guess we can try to use the I'm trying to use more Xcode more, especially this beta version. So let's go to the profile list state and let's grab some stuff out of here. This is be our app state. Let's make it equitable. And then let's start by taking the list, which is a profile list. All right. And that is from this framework. And then the app doesn't know which one is selected. The app may want to know which one the user want to delete. Warn deletion for index. Yes. And yeah, this also is a sensible thing for the app to have. And this as well. So we'll have to pass all of these down. Okay. All right. I also want to. This has been bothering me. It's an old name, and it should be like profile selected or something. Shown is vague. Okay. At some point, the app has only one selected profile, which is also the activated one. So whenever you click, it's the activated one. But I think that's actually not intuitive enough. So I made this little indicator and then invented the whole concept of what is active. Because sometimes you just want to browse, right? You don't want to have any consequence of clicking. Okay. Yeah, so we have an app state. And then we'll also have app store, I guess. Let's see. What's the next step? The next step is to make the app view take a state that's the app state, right? Yes. And then the app state comes with app actions. So let's make that as well. Okay, so for now, it's just going to be a placeholder. So that I get to write this store as app state and app action. And then we get to I guess the next step could be rewriting the profile list store, right? Okay. Okay. So we actually need a profile list store derived from a parent, which is a store of type app state and app action. Okay. And it's going to give us a store of our type. All right. And here we can think about how to do that. We'll make a store. Yeah, so this is interesting because now I'm thinking a lot of the state that's previously in the profile list state may not be necessary anymore. Obviously, we need a list so we can display it. We need a selected store index thingy. But these ones, for example, may no longer be necessary. And then we'll get some duplication in the action part because the list does want to do a lot of stuff to the actual storage. So the app action will have to have corresponding responses for those actions as well. So there will be a lot of like communication between these two. Communication means they have to share some kind of language. Yeah. Wait, what's also interesting is like, let's say I want to display an alert, right? Um, let's say we have an action, app action that begins the alert progress, meaning the state here is like this is non-nil. Then who's going to be responsible for showing that alert? I guess that'll be on the app view, right? So that means our app view will get some code as well. So that's actually not bad at all. So app view is basically the okay. That's actually very, very natural. So this might be more doable than I thought. Okay, let's see. Let's get things to compile. That's my current goal. And as usual, I don't want to stream for a long time today, but we'll see how that goes. All right. Interestingly, though, the refactor didn't work earlier. Okay. So what am I looking at? This is the content view. And yes. We need to make the store for our list. All right. So let's make this. Initial state, reducer, and environment. Okay. So environment will be just a parent's environment. That's easy. Reducer, it's going to be a placeholder. And the initial state is interesting because we have to think about what, let's assume these three are no longer needed, okay? So the initial state here is going to be a list and this selected profile index. So that would be, I'm coding hardcore mode without any help from the editor. Well, degraded help. Profile list state. And then we know this is no longer accurate, but we know there's a list and parent will have a list for it. And then we know there's a selected profile index. Yes. It's as if I wrote the code myself. Selected profile index. So what do you do for the first time you launch the app? We take the active index. Oh, wait. Parent is a... Oh, right. We need to do like view parent view store is view store from parent. Okay. And then we do parent view store dot state. Can I also do list? Oh, really? Okay. Parent view store dot selected. Oh, active. Oh, list dot active. Yeah. All right. Then we return this here. How am I doing? Reducer. Okay, something is wrong with the reducer. Wait, I thought reducer takes 3 arguments. Yeah. Interesting. So there's some basic syntax error here that I'm not seeing. Let's do initial state is profile list state like this. Maybe it's just the steel error. Sometimes that happens. Initial state. Because there's tons of other errors. So also the one thing that, well, the thing that doesn't, oh, I think this extra comma here is the culprit. Okay. All right, because one thing that clued me in that this wasn't working is the fact that this was not highlighted. Okay. So the original reducer now has a bunch of errors because we need to forward things to the parent instead. So I guess we could just take this, right? And let me think. So how should we do this? Right, there's a file dedicated to it. So let me just do the same trick and make a function, right? And then parent view store is a store view store of app state app action, and then we return our reducer like so, right? And then here we can write out the body. Oh wait, this is a so-called higher order function, huh? I mean, this is fine too, I guess. We just make a reducer inside. It's not a big deal. Reducer. And then just copy this. Okay, so syntax highlighting kicks in pretty quickly. Obviously, a couple of things is wrong. But before I guess I'll comment out this as well. Why not? I can try to hook it up. So the reducer here would be profile list reducer with the parent view store. Right, so this type now type checks. Can get rid of this as well. Oops. Okay, so now we're back to this thingy. Right, its reducer is wrong. I guess we'll make a mock app store as well. Oh, we don't even have an app store. Okay. The code just writes itself. I don't need to make any decision, just autopilot. So composable architecture. So previously we only had one, I guess, independent store type like this. I guess that means this really is a lowercase app store. Store is going to be a store of type app state, app action. And then we just follow these, right? And then we need to figure the initial state, the reducer, the environment. And we know the environment already. That's a freebie because it's fake. And the app state. Yeah, we have a list. We have the warn. These are nils to begin with. So that's easy. This is going to be formerly this. Okay. So this might be something in the future that will come from the environment because the initial okay. So this is the initial list. That's actually from the disk. I guess I can also do this. Then I get to use the implicit return here. And then we write our reducer, okay? This. Okay. Shared container, where is that from? That's gonna from here. And then some silly syntax error like this. Okay, it's still not happy. Oh. Okay. All right, so we have an app store. Now we go back to the list store. Right. So I guess we'll have to have a mock app store. That's the real reason I started doing this. So if debug and if, and then mock app store. So the only thing that's different is this list. Let me make this pretty. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing here. All right. And we have a little list here. So might as well take it. So that replaces this line, right? Okay, everything else is good. And we can hop back here and say, wait, do I still need this? I don't need this anymore, right? Because I can reuse this code now. Somewhere in the code base, is this. Oh, two places. Profile list view. So we want profile list store derived from mock app store. So that's one. Profile rename view. Profile list store from mock app store. So this bothers me just a little. I guess it's fine. What bothers me is like this file knows about the global app store. Well, such is the nature of, I guess, dependency injection as of right now. Okay, so still tons of error. I'm thinking if we get rid of all these errors, we're in stream. Okay, so this is interesting. First of all, this didn't get renamed, so let's rename it. And the store is going to be easy now, right? Mock app store. Okay. And this is going to be the profile list store from this. Right. So that should be okay. This line should be okay. Okay. And here, yeah. Format preference, let's see. Maybe this can derive from App Store as well, because let's see what it needs. It needs the profile selected. All right. Yes. So the selected profile is something that's being shared here. And store is a reference type. Okay, that's good. Oh, this is tricky. Wait, what am I thinking? Feel like there's something obvious that I'm missing here. Right, the app view shouldn't have the app store. It's almost like this view is a placeholder. Yeah, it really should have the profile list store. Yeah, I should have the profile list store. Profile list. Well, let me think conceptually. Take one step back, right? So let's say this is a abstraction for like the root of our view hierarchy. So it's responsible for composing profile list view. So that means the profile list view should let's take a pick here, right? So I definitely don't want to create two instances of the profile list reducer store. Okay, so one way this could work I mean, really it's superficial though. Because what I need is a profile list store. I mean, profile list state and profile list action. That'll satisfy all of this. But it's uncomfortable, right? We call this app view, we have an app store, we have an app state, but this is not the app state. It's uncomfortable. I guess the app store is viewless. The instance of the app store, right, it lives with the app delegate. Or maybe this can just be in the app delegate even. So let's just make it clean and say this is a function. And then we call the function in the app delegate, right? Yeah, okay. So now we have an app store. Yeah, then we still have ways to go here. Okay. I guess this state still need the similar property that's duplicated from the app state. Was it this one? Yeah. And this one as well. Hopefully something will simplify again once we start moving forward. Okay, so this is where the profile list reducer needs to start communicating with the app state. Let's split screen again. And here we'll take a look at the profile list action. Okay, so there's profile list action. We also want to look at profile reducer, list reducer. And then we'll take a look here at the app action. All right. So let's see. So attempt to delete is one of these that we need to duplicate up here. Okay. Okay, so this is interesting, right? That the selected concept doesn't exist in the app, but we can reuse this event. So that's a good sign. That means our refactor is already starting to make sense. In the sense that the app action has less knowledge about this specific UI, right? So here, instead of setting this state directly, we would say parent view store send. The action would be attempt to delete the index. Okay, so that should help us. Yep, and then we move on to this one. This one is going to do very similar things. You can say this is the same code with a different piece of data. Data come from user's action. right? So that's very, very elegant, actually. Let's hide those. So this one, warn deletion for index. Cancel deletion. Ah, right. So this is one of those events. This is one of those events that we can delete from the lower level. It doesn't need to know something's canceled. Okay. And then I guess in general, there's a set of things that the action will do, right? All the things that touches the storage should be delegated to the app stuff. Let's just do that. So select is not, update selected is interesting because what we really want is like a update index profile, right? I guess I'll follow my convention and I'll use labels for now. So that means, yeah. Okay. So update selected. Okay, so in that we get the index. Selected profile index, and then we send this to the parent. View store, wait, parent view store, send update index profile. That's easy enough. And then we don't have to worry about this anymore. Actually, let me do this instead. Yeah, I think if I do things right, this reducer should never perform any side effect. So that's actually pretty easy guideline to follow. All right, so let's do all that. So there's an activate, I mean. Yep. So we can just say parent view store, send, activate, index, return none. Actually, I just return none at the end. Wait. Okay. Create profile. Why is this no op? That's interesting. That means I don't need it, right? It's probably dead code. Yeah, I can delete this. Okay, let's keep going. Duplicate at index. So this is interesting. So this requires some thinking, right? Because to duplicate a profile, what you're really asking is a series of things. Let's see. We use store. Can you send multiple actions? No. Guess that's fine. Because really, so what is to duplicate profile? Duplicate profile involves a bunch of things, but at the essence, you take a profile at an index, grab its content, right? You take it out, and then you insert it next to it, right? So that's insert, and then you need to update the activated index. That's activate. So you can break it down to insert and activate, right? So I just need to produce a insert action here, and then I'll have to the stinky part about this is I have a bunch of unit tests for this as well, so those have to be rewritten. So I need to actually go to the definition of this. I guess just take the code, paste it in here, and see what we can do. So there's no self, but there's a state. State has a list has profiles. You take the index out, modify the profile with this duplicate function. It's all good. Okay. Now you call the view store and tell it to insert a profile at an index. One profile. Okay, so that's that. And then you update the selected. That's part of the state. And then if index is smaller than the state list activated state, then you tell the index store, the parent store, parent view store, send, activate the new one, which is the state dot let me cache this value. Call it old active index. Old active index. Then we do old active index +1. So that should replicate all that. Okay, duplicate is an interesting thing because it's in the it's in a different file, right? It's in the profile list reducer. For now, wait, profile list state actually. For now, I'll just take this and put it in the reducer. Kind of is more reducer-y function anyways. Okay, so that should make that code less angry. Yeah. So this is done. Program will send update. Okay, this is done. Select is very good. Okay, delete. Delete, straightforward, copy. Warn deletion for index. All right, this is the commitment of the delete action, right? So this doesn't really need to matter anymore. We'll save the assertion here. And we don't need to do this. Instead, we say view store, parent view store, send, delete index. Okay, and we don't return this. And then these actions also needs to move here. Probably this is no longer needed here. Starting to regret deleting them. You should just comment them out. Whatever. Some things are easy. Yeah, add profile is another interesting thing. Okay, where were we? We were trying to do this, right? Begin import. So begin import is just a simple forward. Parent view store, send, begin, profile import. Okay. This is a kind of a big refactor. How long have we been going? 1 hour, okay. So rename profile. Well, let's go order in order, I guess. The order is kind of arbitrary. It's like whatever I ended up after adding them one by one. This exhaustive one should be stale, right? Okay. All right, let's go. Let's do the add profile one. So we have a new profile value. So this one is just a insert. Oh, there's some some weird interaction here that it needs some rethinking. Parent restore send. We want to insert. Okay. And the index would be state list profiles count -1 and profile. Okay, we insert at the end, so that's easy. So that takes care of this. Because state is a, so this one should be like this, because this is the old count, right? Hopefully that's correct. All right. Remove profile. That's an easy one. I'll rename profile. So this is another one we can implement in terms of the existing actions, because we can get the profile, state list profiles index, okay, and profile dot name will become the new name. And then we ask the parent store to update. At index and profile. Cool. So that's one of the actions that the parent doesn't even need to know. Wait, but does this make sense? Wait, or is the answer that rename profile? Have a feeling rename profile needs to move in the future, because obviously you want to trigger this action elsewhere as well. The weird part is rename profile for some reason. Yes, actually it's start renaming profile. Yeah, rename profile doesn't belong here at all. Okay, rename profile we can delete. Okay, and end profile renaming we can also put it here. And start profile renaming, we'll duplicate here. Start and okay. All right, so and this guy only needs to know about start. Okay, so rename, we can just straight up get rid of start profile renaming. And all we need to do is view store send start. Do I call it start or begin? Begin, right? Begin. Okay. Okay. And this thing doesn't need to end it because that's no longer in its view hierarchy. And begin profile creation is something begin creation and begin import. Yeah. Okay. And begin import for some reason. Oh, it's up here. Okay. Begin profile renaming. Oh, yes. Index. Okay, so no more error here. We ripped out a lot of code. Actually, I have the original one here to reference, so maybe I shouldn't sweat too much about commenting out. But okay. So let's get rid of these split windows and think about updating the view, right? This is the only instance. Okay. Right. Things like this delete alert, we can move up. We can move away. Move it away to the app view, quote unquote. Okay. I don't know why it's getting this stored this way. Because it clearly can get it by the merit that it's a method. Then we just return this. Okay. This is the weird part, right? this app view is supposed to receive app actions, but we're giving it list actions. Yeah, I'm giving it both. App store. I guess I just call it store. It's a store of app state app action. Okay, and then this would be the list store, and we'll give it to our view components. And then let's give it an initializer. Store date app action, and store is store. List store is profile list store from store. Okay, so that's easy enough. And in this case, the store is the, yeah. So now this should be happier, right? Okay. App view take app store. I'm pretty happy about that. Okay. Yeah, I guess this store is special because it communicates with AppKit. Therefore, it gets two references. Okay, so profile rename reducer and views should reconfigure itself to work with the App Store as well. So we'll get to that. Duplicate profile, remove profile. Yeah, these are no longer responsibility of this guy. Right, we can move this alert now to the app view. With view store, I guess. Oh, but this guy takes an index. That's tricky. Right. So I don't really need to know about the actual index. App state does have warn deletion for index, right? Yes. Okay, so as long as it's not nil, I'm good. And then delete alert for index. It doesn't even need to take the index, really. Delete alert is of type alert. And when it comes to index, we just take the view store state.warn. Right. Okay. And then we have the sheets. The sheets are, creating profile and renaming profile. So we can yoink these, give it to the app view as well. Everything's coming together. Does app state have the present sheet convenient thingy? No, but we can steal that. Present sheet. Index for profile being renamed. Okay. Yoink, mine now. We have both of these, so that's easy. Okay. Right, so now the stores needs to be remade. Because now it should take a app state and app action. Oh, let me think. Yes. Right, there's no add profile anymore. Maybe there should be one. Like a case append profile. And then we can go back to the list. reducer, and when we add profile here, instead of sweating over it, we can just say parent view store send append profile. And maybe this is no longer needed, but begin profile renaming. Why was that? Huh. Something weird is happening. Okay. All right, now let's update profile rename store. Take an app state and app action. And oh, right, I haven't really finished the profile creation store either. Append. Okay. So this one doesn't need to do this awkward two-level conversion anymore. That's good. Build succeed. Oh, that's unsettling. Because there's so much more to do. Oh boy. What does it mean? What does it mean? Nothing works, right? Nothing works. You can still select it. That part still works. Rename doesn't do anything. Delete doesn't do anything. Duplicate probably doesn't do anything. Activate doesn't do anything. Okay, cool. Haha, okay. Now let's implement the store, the reducer, because this is the missing piece. And this guy can probably stand by itself. So app reducer. State action environment. Okay, state action. All right. So how can we speed this up a little? So let's start by switch on the action, and then let's split the screen, and then we'll take a look at the old profile list reducer, because most of the things are here. All right, let's add our missing cases. Let me just think about this. So we have update, we get our index, we get our new profile. We need this save profile effect and this effect. So we can just take both of these away. Import docstring framework. Okay. And combine. Probably means I don't need combine over here anymore. Okay. All right, so what does update entails? Okay, it does this. So state has a list, has a profiles, we have the index, we assign it, and then we return concatenate of effects. First one being save the profile. Second one being request a app review. Okay, that's so easy. Activate, let's have an index. And we don't need this anymore. Yeah, we just literally set the value state dot list dot activate index is the new index. And then we return save profiles state.list. Okay, insert is interesting because we have an index. But first of all, is insert used anywhere? Okay, used here. Okay, so it's being used in duplicate. Let me take a look at that. So duplicate. Yeah, it's pretty involved. Okay, let's just pay attention to the comment dot code, right? So we have the index, we have the profile, and then insert at index means state list profiles insert at index. So that part is easy. And then the hard part is we need to get the active index. Oh no, that's it, actually. Because insert and activate are separate things. So when we duplicate, we will conditionally update the activate index if necessary. Okay. So append is interesting. Append used to be add profile, right? So we do state a list of profiles, append the new profile. Then we need to update this. Okay, so that's it. Okay. Delete. Delete. Quite involved. Quite involved. We'll copy this as well. Actually, this just doesn't need to be here anymore. Okay, so we have a couple of things to do here. Warn deletion for index. This one should be nil. And then, aha. So we actually implement this in a separate place. Let's take this, just do this. Think I don't need this anymore. Okay, so delete does a bunch of things. It does has this interesting code that I need to preserve. Okay. Remove profile at index. Okay. Then save, right? Okay. Cancel attempt. Cancel delete attempt. So we just set some property to nil. Warn deletion. Begin profile creation. So state profile creation, create. That's it. Begin profile import, state profile creation, import, right? Okay. finish profile creation. This one is basically the cancel. Begin profile renaming with the index. So we get the name from state list profiles index.name, then state index. Wait, why do I need the name? I don't need the name. Index for profile being renamed is index. Rename profile index new name. Yep. Okay. Rename profile. Okay. So state list profiles index name new name and save profile. And profile renaming. Index being renamed is nil. Oh, build succeeded again. Is this end of the stream? Let's test things. Click, things are updating. Good. Try to update here. Nothing happens. Bad. Okay. Create profile. Nothing happens. Interesting. Let's see. Create profile should trigger begin profile creation, right? Is this not hooked up? No, app delegate. Okay, app view takes app store, profile list store. Profile list view. Okay. Let's look at the panel view. Actually, just look at the reducer. Close this now. Begin profile creation. Okay. Do I get a breakpoint? Yes. parent view store. Huh. So this is definitely not being triggered. Begin profile creation. Oh, I mean, not. Of course, it's not hooked up. Okay. Edit. Okay, it still doesn't work here, so something's wrong. Let's try that again. This is the list. Yeah. Oh, this is the app reducer now. Oh, okay. Unnamed profile. Let's call it named profile. Create. Create didn't work. What if I relaunch the app? So it did work. It just didn't update the view. So that's concerning. Yeah, that worked as well. It just didn't get updated. Profile list state. Right, that makes sense. You have to do this, right? Hmm. So I really need to derive this store instead of creating it. So that's not going to be enough. Well, maybe it will. Okay, so let's try this. Profile list state has a bunch of stuff and would take them all from app state. No, that won't work neither. Okay, so my problem right now is I need this sub store, this child store, to get updates from the parent store, the app store. For example, when the list changes, I need the fresh value instead of just this initial value. And the mechanism from Composable architecture to do that is to use this store.scope to scope it down. The problem is this, I also need this store to have an actual state, which is the selected profile index. So can I do that? Oof. Oof. Man, this is ugly. Okay, there's no way this works, right? This is such a big hack. Like select. Okay. Select is working. So what's happening here is kind of amazing, which is this store uh, has a state, and the state is this variable that got captured by this closure and this closure. And when I click, all I'm doing is mutating this local variable in this function because these blocks are capturing them, so it actually persists. Okay. This is ultimate lambda calculus here. So let's try something else. Activate. It worked. Okay, this is the end of the stream. Let me just test a few things and then we'll call it, okay? So let's try duplicate. Activate, okay. Let me duplicate one of these. Fixture becomes fixture 1, okay. Let's duplicate triple X. Triple X1, triple X still remains selected. Good sign, good sign. Duplicate named 1. Okay, duplicate is working. That's amazing. All right, let's try to edit something. Let's delete this. Here we go. Yeah, that is a problem, huh? The selected index. Yeah, I didn't think this through. Because this is a local variable, so there's no way to read it outside of this. Oh, wait, what? I think for a brief moment, this value is out of date. That makes sense. Yeah, this only happens when we delete the last profile. I guess we'll make this just an optional. No. Okay, so the theory is this will get read, but it's never going to get displayed. So delete. Okay, so yes, that kind of worked, but my dialog is gone. That's funny. Attempt to delete selected. So something is wrong here. Attempt to delete selected. Ah, yeah. This is definitely wrong. So it should be state dot warn deletion from the index. Okay, that's better. Should see this. Yes, cancel does nothing. Delete. Well, that didn't work. Right. There's a bit of a mix-up here. Okay. Delete. Yes. Okay. Duplicate. I can edit this, right? Edit. Okay, everything is working. What about adding new profile? Unnamed profile. Let's go. And then import. Okay, so import works. What about so things appears to be working now. I really dislike this hack where I use a local variable. But I think I'll spend some time research the answer for this in the future. But yeah, it's pretty late here now, so I think I'll just call. Yeah. So what I don't like is this, right? Yeah, I guess that's the second thing I don't like. So maybe the best thing to do for now is to have this instead. Insert Okay, so this is nicer now. We duplicate the index, so we take the profile out, give it a new ID, duplicate its name, and if necessary, we increase the active profile index, then we save it. Okay. Right. This, I think I can just delete this file now. Okay, so duplicate. Let's test it. Duplicate this guy. Crap, it didn't work. Right. That makes sense because I didn't insert. Insert. Okay, try that again. So this needs to be +1. Okay, try this again. Okay, what about the last one? Okay, what about this one? Okay, so I think duplicate is working. There's one other thing I want to test. So interesting. Oh, oh, things are pretty broken, huh? Index is 4. Right, this is no longer needed. What about this one? Yeah, this won't work because this is the state that needs to change. I see. Hmm. Okay. I need to go offline. So yeah, that's it today.